Hey guys, okay, I'm gonna do a tutorial. This is my second tutorial ever on inheritance. Um, this is gonna make your lives a lot easier, and hopefully, if you're not too script savvy, this is step one in you becoming a little bit more script savvy. So, first of all, off topic, let me just say right now I have a cold. So, if my voice just sounds super horrible or whatever and it annoys you, I'm sorry. I can't help it. Um, and also this is my second tutorial ever, and I'm kind of just winging it. So some of this stuff might seem a little rough around the edges. I apologize. I'm thinking I might do some more tutorials in the future. Um, so they'll probably get better, but these first couple are they're probably just going to be bad. Now I do have one other tutorial already, and it's on doing health bars. So you're probably sitting here looking at my scene and seeing these two boxes, and basically I've set up a scene where I have a damage enemy button and a damage player button, and what these are going to do is basically deal damage to these two game objects and reduce um, the health. So if I come over here and reduce this health, you can see his health bar goes down. I just got this heart offline, so if you own this heart, then hey, thanks for letting me borrow this for this tutorial. Um, totally just googled heart and slapped it in here. So, yeah, let's get into this. The first thing we're going to do is create a new C# script. And you know what? Before I dig into that, let me explain to you what inheritance is, so that way you understand what I'm trying to do. I want you to think about a ball, and it bounces, it squishes, it has a texture, it has a certain amount of air pressure inside of it, right? PSI, think like a basketball, okay? So I want you to imagine, maybe you want to create a basketball, and this is all hypothetical, imagine this was code, okay? If you wanted to create a basketball and you wanted to create a football, all right, it wouldn't make much sense to create a bounce function and an air pressure function and then a texture handling function and a size handling function and then go over to the football and do it all over again, right? Oh, and a shape handling function, right? That's just silly. What you would do instead is you would create a ball, and it would have all those functions already. And then when you created a football, you would just modify the PSI, you would modify the shape, and probably the bounce alone. And then with a basketball, all you would do, or in the texture, and then with a basketball, you would update the texture and the size. You'd leave the shape and everything else alone. And you're done. And you've created a football and a basketball, and you didn't have to do hardly any extra work. So what everybody always wants to do, right, is create an enemy and a player, and the player deals damage, and the enemy deals damage, and both of them can die. And you see people creating a script for one, and then they're completely duplicating that script again for the other, and it's just not a solid. It's not healthy. It's just So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a base person object, okay? And this is going to handle all of our person attributes, our health and our death and our life and our emotions, right? It's all going to go right in here. And then we're just going to hand that out willy-nilly to all the new objects we want to create. So I am using Visual Studio. Before you throw in the comments, how do you get Visual Studio working with Unity like that? It's Pro. Okay, you just got to buy it, or you got to get a part of the Microsoft BizPark program, which my company is in. So, pow. So the first thing we want to do, right, it's a person, and we're making a game, so I'm sure the first thing people are going to jump into is their health. So we're going to set a max health variable, okay? Max health. Public, what is max health? Int. Max, I can't type, health. And then, actually this doesn't need to be public, and we're just going to do int health, okay? And then for the sake of this example, I've pre-made some GUI objects, so I'm also going to want to do a public game object, health bar game object, just for ease of tutorial stuff. And then a private image, I forgot to do using Unity engine .ui. Hello. Or you image, and this is actually going to be the health bar. Okay. So that's the setup, and then we're going to do, it's not the startup, I apologize, void start. Also, if I do dumb things, it's because I'm sick and my head's kind of foggy. Bleh. So start, so I want to do I'm going to get our health bar. Health bar is going to equal health bar game object dot get component image. Okay, so now I've extracted the image object from the health bar, and this is going to allow me to access the fill amount, which is this right here, so I can get that health bar effect. Okay, that's what we're doing right now. So now we're going to do a public. Now we're going to do the functionality, right? We're going to do a public void take damage. Okay, and we're just going to keep this simple, and we're just going to do health. I probably just could have typed th instead of arrow up twice. Health minus equals, and we'll just do a 5. And then we want to update our health bar, so we're going to say health bar dot fill amount equals float. I'm going to cast a float. The reason why I'm doing float is because if you divide two integers together, you won't get a decimal. You won't get a float in return. You'll just get a 0 if the if, like, say you divide 1 by 20, normally you get, like, point whatever. Math is hard. And you just get a 0 instead. So I'm going to do, we're going to divide our current health by our max health, and that's going to return us basically a percentage value, which fill amount is 0 to 1. I did a horrible job of explaining that just now, and I feel really bad for even speaking for the last 30 seconds, so you'll see when this works what I'm doing. So I'm sorry. Oh, lesson learned, don't do tutorials when you're sick. Alright, so also, and by the way, I don't know if I said this already, if you don't know how to do this, I have a tutorial. I'll put a link down right now, and you can learn how to do this health bar thing. So, alright, so we've created our base object, the person, and this handles our health bar, this handles getting our health, alright, and oh, we should probably let's do this as well while let's test this functionality and then we'll add more. There we go. So what we're going to do now is we've got our base person, and you're probably thinking, well, hey, but it's not attached to the player, so it's not actually going to work. You're correct. It isn't going to work. What we're going to do is we're going to add a new component. We're going to call this player, and we're going to add that. Oops, he already has a player object. My bad. So we're going to add player, and that was weird. Oh, okay. So now what we're going to do with player is really simple stuff. First of all, don't need this, not yet anyway. And now here's where inheritance comes in. We want player to have everything person has. How do we do this? It's really hard. Done. Now, person inherits from mono behavior, so you're not losing any functionality. Player is going to get all the mono behavior stuff, and it's going to get all of person stuff. So check this out. So you might notice right here, player has no stuff at all, right? Well, as soon as this compiles, watch what happens. Boom. All of the person's stuff just came through. Now, this is the player script. Player is empty, right? But look, there's things here. This is inheritance. This is the beauty of inheritance. So now what I can do is I can take the player's health bar object, put it right there, and I can set their max health to 100. Now, real quick, I'm going to do this damage player button, and I'm going to set it to, see, we have the player object, and it's player.take damage, okay? So now if I click play, oh, I forgot one very important thing. My bad. At the beginning, we need to make sure that health equals max health, because I don't set that. There we go. Play. Now, take damage. See how that works? Every time I click, player loses 5 health. Now, you can see here, I'm going way super negative, and we'll handle that in a minute. Now, if I do damage enemy, nothing happens. But now what normally you would do here is you think, okay, well, I got to create a new script for the enemy too. No, you don't. No, you don't. Watch this. Create down here. We're on the enemy object. Add component. Call this one enemy. This is a brand new script. Okay. We're going to open up enemy. And now same thing. Delete all this junk. Don't need it because we're inheriting person. Boom. Okay. Control save. Why are you not saving? Control save. There we go. I was hitting Alt. Okay. Now, we go up here to damage enemy button. Add a function. Go down here. Go to where are you at, enemy? Here you are. New function. Enemy. Take damage. Alright. Now we can play. Now check this out. Oops, I hit pause. Uh-oh. Oh! Forgot to set up the enemy. We go down here to enemy. We gotta give them a max health. We'll give them a max health of like 25, so you'll see that it's different. And then I have to take enemy's image and put it here. So that's this. There we go. So we'll click play. Now check this out. So damage player, he's got a lot of health, right? Damage enemy, he does not have a lot of health. Now there you go. I just created a player and an enemy that can take damage, and I only wrote one script. Because if you notice, enemy is empty and player is enemy, or is no, they're not. Player is empty, but they both work. They work great. Okay. Now I'm going to do one last thing. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to leave it at that, and I will create a second tutorial that's going to get into overwriting. So you might be thinking, well, now I have this like empty object here, and well, now what do? Can I continue this inheritance thing? And yes, you can. You can actually add functions to this that we can still use universally, but modified. So what we'll do in the next tutorial is we'll add a death function, because maybe you want to have your enemies and your players die a different way. Like when your player dies, you want him to respawn, but when your enemy dies, you're going to want him to just disappear forever. But we can put that all in. We can put that in enemy, or in person, excuse me, and then just modify them in person and player without changing it. Now I'm rambling. So anyway, so that's that. I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video if you liked it. Normally you get this like, hey, subscribe, but I don't even know if I'm going to make that many more videos, so subscribe if you want. I don't care. I'm not trying to make money on this. I'm really just trying to help people code better. Yeah. So that's it. I'm done.